And again, thank you, Group 5. We have heard some thoughtful ideas from you guys with the perspective from the government. And they have emphasized some reasons why sex education should be included in the secondary curriculum. First of all, is that educating the body autonomy. Second is giving them proper understanding of sex, safe ways to have sex, as well as about contraceptions and protection to prevent teen pregnancy and STDs. They was. Ui. Thank you so much. Now, do anyone have any question for them?
Thank you very much. My question is, will the budget for sex education in schools be as significant as other subjects, considering its importance?
So much for your questions. And to answer, will the budget of the subject be as much as other subject? I would like to say that other subject that children, the students, have to learn in school already cost and already been covered by the tuitions fees and additional funding from the government. And so given that this subject is as equally important and fundamental, I would assume, in my perspective, I would say that it wouldn't take as much funding or more funding than the other subject, as in every fees that the schools that. Every fees from the subject is already taken from the tuition fees, and if the schools have any lack of funding, that the amount of money will be coming from the governmental funding, as in taxes. You guys have any more questions?
Hi, thank you.
Hello. Well, since sex education is not a popular subject, so what is the standard of choosing the proper teachers for this subject? That's all.
Okay, thank you for your question. I would say that the qualification and the specialization needed for a person who can teach children for this topic will be as same as other important subjects. For example, if you wanted to teach a student in math, you need to learn from mathematics specialization. The same thing goes with sex. I think that is the crucial point. The government really have to cover and make sure that all the teachers who are teaching, who are imparting this knowledge, needs to be as important as other subjects as well. So I would say that.
I would also like to add that since sex education is not like other subjects like math or physics, the teachers handling this subject would most likely be from counselors that are sent from social division. They'll most likely be social workers that have been educated in this matter and been trained on how to teach students on sex and the practice of safe sex.
Anyone have any other questions?
Okay, another question for me. Students are taught about sex education in secondary schools. So let's say pregnancies at their age still does not decrease or somewhat still rise, then what will you do? What are the changes you are willing to make to decrease that or to change it?
To answer that, now we would have to understand that how are these students getting pregnant? Are they getting pregnant by someone in their age group, or are they getting impregnated by someone over the age of consent? As you say that the rate, hypothetically, when we incorporated as sex education inside the school curriculum and the rate of teen pregnancy does not decrease, then you have to take into considerations that the age group. Are they practicing sexual intercourse within their school, within their age range, or are they being coerced into having sexual intercourse with somebody over the age of consent, over the legal age? Now, when they are impregnated by their peers, per se, as somebody under the age of 18, as the pregnant person themselves or also under the age of 18, then we will have to reconsider we have to assist those cases by giving counselings on whether or not they want to keep the child or they want to abort, and other added procedures. But in the cases of the students, those are under the age of 18 getting impregnated by those who are over the age of 18, we would have to involve the law. As in those who are under the age of 18 are oftenly coerced and lured into sexual activities with those who are older than them. And in those cases, there should be child protecting laws be enforced.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello. I would like very simple question. Well, these access program would obviously cost money, correct? So would this eat significantly into government budget being used for other fields such as infrastructure or city planning?
I understand that your question is asking about the funding for these subjects. However, you have to understand that the funding for infrastructure and the funding for school programs are totally two different things, and they come from different sources. For infrastructure, it will be related into constructions and companies and individuals. Also a percentage of tax money into the infrastructure. And for sex education in curriculums, it will come from tuition fees. As I have stated, tuition fees by the parents of the students will, and additional fractions of the tax money will be funding these subjects.
I want to add something to the questions of Queen Chang. According to my knowledge, the government will have a detailed list about how to use their budgets, how for specifying, and each aspect of the government only have a fixed and stable budgets that they will use for doing the things. And moreover, I think that investing for sex education is never redundant and unnecessary, because when you are investing in sex education, you are investing for our children's futures, for our generation. So it's definitely not as trivial or something. That's my opinion.
Anyone else?
Okay, thank you, Governor. Okay, so I have a questions for the leaders of the countries that. You just mentioned that there's a lot of uncensored websites on the internet, and that can orientate students in the wrong way about sex. Okay, could you recommend some of the reliable websites that students can learn from that? Thank you.
As for in uncensored websites, I understand that there's a concern that nowadays with the improvement of the internet and technologies, students are more likely to have access to uncensored websites or pornography sites, and to say that. Is there any other website that can lead these students into the right directions about sex? I would say that there will definitely be those websites would definitely exist, as in they would be created by educational sites, educational organizations on this particular matter. And to say that is there any example, there are definitely real life sites on this matter. However, to say that these websites will not be as graphic as the other websites, you can refer to educational videos about sex education on YouTube or on the Australian government educational site.
Alright, next one.
Well, there are there are many cases of sex education teachers sexually abusing the students. So, is there any way to monitor the learning process? Okay, there are a lot of cases that sex education teachers sexually abusing the students. So, is there any way to monitor the learning process?
I understand your concern, as in, yes, there are cases of teachers sexually abusing students, and I would understand that these sex education classes would be a perfect playground for these predators. And of course, there will be procedures in ensuring that these teachers on these subjects are adequate to teach the students. First, there would require the teachers in this subject would require certifications, and they would also there would also be background checks on criminal records and on digital footprints. Does that matter? Also, we would have anonymous surveys and anonymous mailbox for the students in those classes so they can put in their thoughts or confess about something that is happening in these classes that are making them uncomfortable, without risking the identity of the students.
Okay.
Thank you. I have a question that should we have tests for students taking this subject to see what they have learned, or should we just give them a quick explanation? And more, I have a question. And should whether or not students can be judged as failing this subject?
I would like to say that sex education is not a normal subject that can be graded in a standardized test like math or English. This subject is more of educating on their knowledge in real life, and you cannot exactly put a grade or put a number of scores on their knowledge of in the real life. So to say that is there any sort of test to grade their knowledge or grade their understanding of this matter, I would like to say that there would be some sort of standardized tests like in English or math, but however it would only be in form of questions in yes or no's or in or in written tests. On practicing, there would be some sessions where the students can discuss and present their points and present their understanding, and there will be practicing on for example, how to put on a condom, or how to use or their understanding of the different types of contraceptions.
Okay, so previously you said these programs will be paid for by tuition fees, and so I would like to ask, would this result in an increase of these tuition fees, and how do you tend to deal with the situation where millions of parents are now have their tuition fees, or millions of students have their tuition fees suddenly out of budget?
To say that this subject would put a strain on the parents' economy system, I would like to add that there are organizations that are working with the government to assist parents, to assist the families that are not financially fit to put their children to school. So to say that this subject alone would put a gigantic strain on the amount of money that we'll be spending. Our school is, in my opinion, is utterly ridiculous.
Okay, so I would like to ask you guys that, for example, like in Vietnam, sex education, it's not a compulsory subject. So how long will it take for the government to to ensure that almost all schools in Vietnam will take the practice of that? Like how long it would take?
The amount of time that it would take to integrate these sort of subject into the school curriculum, I would like to say that a small fraction has already been incorporated in the syllabus. As you can see in the year, I remember from the 2006 program that we have already learned about reproductive organs in elementary school in the 5th years. So I would think that it wouldn't take long to integrate the whole of sexual education into the curriculum. And to say that how long it would take to actually put it into actions, we can look at the real life examples. The 2006 programs from our years have already ended. However, the program in the year 2018 have already been put to test and been designed and put to test in the year 2017, and it came into action in 2008. In real life, you can see that it only take 1 year to be put into action. So I would say that it would not take that long of a time for sex education to be incorporated in the school curriculums.
If there's anyone else who has a question, we have the next one.
So, as we all know, sex education is quite a sensitive subject. So, what do you think the government should do to make this type of education more approachable and easier to learn for students?
I feel like I understand your questions and your concern about deleting the stigma around sexual education as it is still a touchy subject, especially in the Vietnamese culture. However, I would like to say that this is not only a governmental problem, this is a societal problem. As a society, we have already been pushing, how do I say this? Been pushing the problem, the matter of sex under a carpet and just hush it away. And that is the reason why children and adults and everyone in our country in general are so afraid of sex. So in order to for this topic to not be a sensitive topic, we ourselves, students, teachers, parents, and everyone in our society, in our community, have to think that this subject is not a sensitive topic, that this subject is important and is a normal thing in our life.
Wow. You again?
Okay. I'll make it quick. So you complained that there was a long question last time, yes? So I have a short one. Can I go to the bathroom? Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes, of course. Right away.
Wow. Do anyone have any other question?
Okay, this will be my last question, I promise. Okay. What are your thoughts on young students having a boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, since many cases have lead to early marriage and pregnancy? Would you forbid it, allow it, and why? Would you make any changes, or yeah?
I must tell you this, because sometimes you can just forbid them from what they want to do. If you forbid them, they just want to do that behind your back. So let me ask you a question. Sexual education is to provide them with the information on how to have sex with much enjoyable pleasure and how to practice safe sex. So let's answer this question. Would you rather them do it by themselves without your supervision, and when they encounter any problems, they will just resolve it by themselves until that it has become very serious that no one can handle it? Or with sexual education, they can have sex safely, enjoyably, and maybe without any pregnancies or STDs, please?
I would like to... People, please. I would like to add that, like Phương has said, that relationships and feelings cannot be forbid. And if you forbid them, they would only do it behind your back. So, and to say that these type of things would encourage early marriage, there has already been laws that would prevent child marriages and has already been active since 2013. So thank you for your questions.
Thank you guys so much. Thank all four group for today amazing presentations. You guys giving us so much more in-depth information.